Our film starts with Trevor, who is sleeping and suddenly wakes up panicked because of a nightmare about his brother Max. Then Trevor gets up, gets dressed, and prepares to go to college, where we find out he's a teacher there. We see the students not interested in what he's saying, and as soon as the lecture ends, they quickly leave without paying attention to him. Afterwards, he goes to the college dean, who tells him that they're going to shut down his brother's lab because the equipment is breaking down and no longer needed, so they decided to turn it into storage. Trevor gets upset and tries to convince him that the lab needs to stay because it's the last thing left of his brothers, but the dean doesn't care about what he says. Trevor goes home sad and frustrated, where he finds voicemails from Elizabeth, Max's wife, saying they're coming today, her and her son Sean, to leave him to Trevor as agreed. But Trevor forgot, so he quickly tidies up the house because he's very messy. At that time, Elizabeth arrives with Sean, and Trevor is nervous because he hasn't seen Sean since he was a child, and now he's a teenager. Elizabeth tells him she will come to him in 10 days. So Trevor says hi to Sean in the car, but Sean acts rude. He wasn't excited to stay with his uncle. Then Elizabeth gives Trevor a box of Max's belongings. Trevor takes it and brings it into the house with Sean, and they sit and talk about their interests. Then Trevor opens the box and finds Max's old belongings, including Max's favorite book, Journey to the Center of the Earth, and Trevor notices that Max wrote notes on the book's pages. So Trevor takes the book and goes to his lab with Sean, where he learns about the place where his brother disappeared, which is the volcanic crest leading to the center of the earth. Trevor decides to travel to this place, Iceland, and convinces Sean to go with him. So they go to Iceland, and on the plane, Trevor collects his brother's notes and tries to understand what he meant, but he only gets letters without understanding their meaning. So Sean realizes that it's a person's name, and when Sean searches for his name on Google, he finds out it's a volcanologist, and Max used to work with him. Later, we see Trevor and Sean land in Iceland and start looking for the scientists, but they don't understand anything on the way until they think they're lost. But they find a cottage in front of them, so they get out of the car and discover it belongs to the scientist they're looking for. They meet a beautiful girl named Hannah and asks her about the scientist. So she tells them that he's her father and that he died 3 years ago. Trevor tells her the reason they're here, so Hannah tells them that what's in the book is real. She takes her father's book and Max's book, puts them together, and shows them that they have similar marks. The next day, they go back to the place where Trevor notices earthquakes and find his brother Max's sensor device there. Suddenly, the weather gets bad. Lightning, thunder, and rain start. So Hannah and Shock take cover in a cave. Then Trevor grabs the device from the ground and runs with it, but lightning keeps striking around him, endangering him. Eventually, he has to throw it away because it's made of iron and attracts lightning. Trevor goes back to the cave, but lightning strikes it, blocking them inside. They panic and start digging to get out, but it's useless because of the many rocks. So they decide to walk through the tunnels, hoping one leads them out. As they walk, Trevor stumbles, but Hannah saves him. Then they find another tunnel, and Trevor uses the distress flare and throws it to see how long the place is. Hannah tells them they will descend using ropes. They descend tied to a rope, but Trevor slips, causing them all to fail. Hannah cuts the rope, thinking Trevor will die, but he lands safely due to being close to the ground. They continue walking and find a mine. Hannah finds the generator's keyboard and tries to operate it until the lights come on. Ahead of them, they find a mining cart. So Sean and Hannah get in, but Trevor disagrees with what they're doing. Hannah forces him into one cart, and they speed off, all frightened, until they encounter a broken rail, and they convince Hannah to stop the car. However, she drives faster and passes the broken rail, continuing on. Suddenly, Hannah's cart separates from Trevor's and Sean's, and Hannah's route ends. She quickly jumps into Trevor's cart before hers crashes. They realize Trevor's route is also ending, so they quickly jump out of their cart, and Sean guides them. They find a hole in the wall, and when they enter it, they find it filled with diamonds and many precious stones. Sean is amazed and starts collecting some, but they're shocked when they hear a sound beneath them and discovers they're standing on very thin crust and need to move carefully to avoid falling. However, when Sean takes out a gem from his bag, it breaks the ground, causing them to fall until they reach the water, and Trevor saves Hannah and Sean from drowning. Then they come out and notice the cave ceiling is moving. Suddenly, luminescent birds appear in front of them. Trevor recognizes them as birds that have been extinct for a long time. They notice the birds walking towards the cave, so they follow them until they reach a place where Trevor understands they are at the center of the earth. He tells them that Max and Hannah's father were right and that they weren't crazy like people thought. Then they continue walking, and light feathers start flying around them. Ahead, they find a giant mushroom and walk around it, finding something resembling a hut. Sean enters it, followed by Trevor, and Hannah tells them she will follow them. While exploring the place, she finds a dusty water bottle with Max's name on it and also finds a flashlight. She runs to Trevor and tells him she found Max, but he's dead. Sean and Trevor are shocked and saddened by it. They bury him and leave, feeling devastated. They return to the hut and read Max's note, realizing that Max wanted to escape. They understand that the area around them has a lot of volcanic magma. They realize the only way out is to cross the sea to reach a hot river that will take them to the surface. They start building a boat, mapping out the route they will take, and setting sail. The water temperature becomes extremely high, reaching 109 degrees Fahrenheit. At night, a strong storm hits them and fish attack them until sea snakes appear, threatening to eat them. They decide to change the sail's direction, but Hannah gets injured due to the strong winds. Trevor rushes to her, leaving his rope, and Sean holds onto both ropes. But the storm's force takes Sean and the sail flies away. Trevor is very afraid for Sean, but Hannah reassures him and says Sean knows the plan and will surely reach them. They go to Sean, who's lying on the ground, and when he wakes up, he follows a glowing bird to a place with water. Then he finds many paths ahead of him, so he takes out the compass and walks north. Meanwhile, Trevor and Hannah search for Sean and face some troubles with wild plants. Trevor saves Hannah from them and asks her to go to the river while he looks for Sean. If he's late, she should go home, but she tells him she will wait for him, showing they care for each other. They find Sean, who's running away from a dinosaur, but he manages to hide in a cave. However, the dinosaur breaks into the cave and is about to eat him. Trevor sees him and breaks the cave from the other side, gets him, and runs away while they can. They run away with the dinosaur chasing them until they finally get rid of it and reach the river, but the water is very hot. Then Hannah appears riding on a dinosaur's jaw, taking them with her. They walk until the water evaporates, which was supposed to be their destination, but unfortunately, all the water has evaporated, revealing the volcanoes beneath them. They panic and notice that the wall is wet, indicating that there's water inside, which is crucial because if it falls on the magma below, it will evaporate and raise them to the surface again. At that moment, he smells a scent of magnesium, knowing that if it ignites, it will blow up the wall. So he goes looking for the rescue flares they have, knowing there are 3 of them. The first one fails to light up due to moisture. He tries another one, but it also fails to ignite. He takes a risk and tries again, lighting it by the side and throwing it, and it indeed ignites. The wall explodes, water pours onto the volcano, magma evaporates and lifts them upwards. They manage to exit through the mountain opening and slide down on the corpse, damaging them. They reach a farmer's house who is very angry because they ruined his field, but Sean gives him a gem from his bag, so the farmer takes it. Trevor was shocked to see that Sean got his backpack filled with them. When they get back home, Trevor uses some of the diamonds to rebuild and fund his deceased brother's lab, informing everyone about that decision and saying that he will take his friends with him to share the discovery with him. Hannah and Trevor get together and we notice a love spark. On the final day of Sean's visit with Trevor, he is leaving their new home, which was purchased with some of the diamonds Sean took from the cave. Sean was in the car about to leave when Trevor handed him a book called Atlantis, suggesting they could maybe hang out at Sean's place during Christmas break. Sean welcomes the idea and we see the glowing extinct birds flying around them. And that's it. If you like this recap, hit like, share, and subscribe to our channel to keep seeing content like this one. If you have any requests or thoughts, drop them below in the comments section and we will see you at the next one. Peace out!